We've reached the part of the podcast going to be talking some NFL, and who better to come on than the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that's still heartbroken that the Bills aren't here, David, aka Better DP21. How you doing today, my man?
Doing good, man. I made sure to bring the right hat this
See,
week
dude,
for you.
my
So
Lions hat is benched, dude. I already got the spring training Tigers hat out, dude.
I almost came with the Braves hat. I was like, well, we got to start advocating for our next series show, but
So, you know, joking aside, the big rumor in Detroit is there's a certain team in the NL East that is a dark horse team to trade for the two-time defending AL Cy Young Award winner. What are your thoughts if the Atlanta Braves make that trade?
be pretty amazing. I'm not saying we don't have like a number one in the rotation, but man, did we have a bunch of injuries last year? With our starting pen that didn't live up to the hype, if you will, and kept us out of the playoffs last year. So can never go wrong with getting another arm. I mean, that's one thing the Braves have never been short on in their farm league system is a bunch of arms. So I'd say let's go for it. Let's just get it.
Even if it includes trading Riley.
I don't know about that, but
No, I'm just throwing
I
it out.
got you.
You know what I mean? Like, like it's just I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, dude. Just throwing
That'd
it
be
out.
tough. I mean, everybody's under control for so long when they signed everybody to deals that, you know, I don't know. I think you could probably give up one.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up. And that leads us
Yeah.
into we're gonna be starting baseball anytime now. Anytime now, I mean probably Jesus.
Like a month out.
March or something. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's jump in. This is gonna be our last NFL episode. It's been a good season. I appreciate you taking time out of your lavish lifestyle to come out here and be the and do this. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into the bets. First bet, my friend. And you know what? I haven't done a side. Full transparency. This is the first Super Bowl in 4 years I haven't had a future alive to. So I don't know what to do.
Wow. Yeah. I don't blame you. I'm actually in the same boat as you are when it comes to that futures play and not having something going in here. So this was difficult for me, and it's going to rip at my heartstrings a little bit, just having to say what I'm about to say. But, putting on the board there, I'm looking at the side to take the New England Patriots plus 4.5 as my side for this game. So that being said, let's look at, what everything is. This is maybe looked at as a contrarian bet, and I'll give you a lot of reasons why, right? 70% of the bettors are on the Seahawks. Every talking head on TV is taking Seattle. Narratives locked in, right? We got elite defense is going to destroy a struggling offense. And Sam Darnold's redemption it plays in. Drake May can't score. But here's the thing about betting, right? When everyone's in the room, the door is locked, your oxygen's running out. That's when the smart money is going to walk out and bet the other side, right? Welcome to the contrarian guide to Super Bowl 60. This is why the Patriots plus 4.5 is going to be the play this weekend. So, I've already kind of painted the picture of what the sports books want you to see, right?
Yeah.
But the main thing here is that the market is actually telling us the opposite of what the public thinks here. So spread open, at minus 3.5 to 4, fair enough. But something interesting happened along the way that people have been paying attention over the last couple of weeks, which is that the public piled onto Seattle. 67% of those tickets, 70% of the money is a classic. The Seahawks are obviously better thinking, quote unquote, right? But the line didn't move toward the Seahawks. It moved away from them. It went from minus 3.5 to 4.5, and at some books even 5. Now, for everybody that knows really how sports betting works, that's backwards. When 70% of the money is on one side, the line should move toward that side to balance the action. But it's not. Why? Because the books are getting hammered by sharp money on the Patriots. Multiple six-figure bets at 4.5 and 5. One better even put over $1 million on the Patriots money line at plus 188, which it's at plus 200 now. Another dropped 2 million at plus 200. A lot of people always know that I'm saying all season long, that this is a money line sport disguised as a spread sport. So I would definitely say to still sprinkle something on the money line. My reasons, though, is like, you think about that. The sports book, whose job it is to take your money, is rooting for the Patriots. Okay. Like, you really got to kind of look at this from that angle. That tells you everything you need to know about where the value is. Now, the other thing here is that, again, everybody knows I work with a predictive model. My model is actually showing the New England Patriots as a minus 2.5 favorite on a 4.5 book line right now. That is a 7-point edge in the Patriots' favor. 7 points. That is almost what you hear in terms of all those other, sports bet heads out there that are just trying to get a quick, buck on you to say to bet the farm, bet the mortgage, all the other things that it's a lock, right? Like all those narratives, if you will. But I mean, really, a 3-point edge is always a strong play in my book. That's what I usually have set for my model as is. 5-point edge, you could play a little heavier. 7 points, that is where you're definitely dealing with something, a little higher than expected, especially for a Super Bowl. Why do I think the market is so wrong here? Because basically everybody's buying that narrative instead of looking at the data, right? I mean, Drake May struggling in the playoffs, Seattle defense unstoppable, Seahawks better at every position, especially special teams. These are two really well, coached football teams. I mean, Mike Vrabel, he thrives in this exact spot, right? He's excelled in this underdog role. Rebels improving people wrong. They've had something come up over the last couple of weeks. This is going to be he's a chess player, right? Disguised as a football coach, in my opinion. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and I know they love the thought process of it's cool being the underdog, right? So they'll surprise a lot of people, wonder if they win, right? I mean, that's just going to kind of be how that goes. But the way that my numbers kind of work out in the way that this cash is that this could be a very much a defensive slugfest, right? Mm-hmm. The Patriots could hold Seattle to 20 or fewer points, which is Vrabel's specialty. New England can win this thing outright, somewhere in the neighborhood of 21-17, or loses 20-17. Either way, you're cashing that 4.5. May really does exploit the zone coverage here. Seattle plays a lot of zone, and he carves it up for about, maybe 250 and a couple of touchdowns out there. Different scenario, maybe the Pats, there's a lot of hypotheticals here when it comes to that. The one thing I know everybody's kind of zoned in on when it comes to Seattle is special teams magic, right? Let's not forget that the Patriots also have Marcus Jones returning for them on the other side of the ball, right? And that's classic Super Bowl chaos when it comes to that as well. So I really can see them here, coming into a spot where they're able to, like I said, find a way to cover in this game. And it's not so much that, I'm looking for a reason. It's that these are where the numbers lie. This is exactly, the uncomfortable truth. But, betting the Patriots to me feels wrong. The data says I'm not wrong, right? The analysts, the models, everything about this is exactly why it's the right play. Betting is not about being with the right crowd. It's about being right against the crowd. You're trying to find a spot where the market's overreacting to a narrative and undervaluing the reality. My model says Patriots minus 2.5. The market is saying Seahawks minus 4.5. So you got a 7-point edge here. Sharp money's on the Patriots. Sportsbooks need the Patriots to cover. Vrabel 9-0 on the road. May's facing a zone-heavy defense that he's torched all season when in those spots. And the underdogs have covered in 5 straight Super Bowls. Patriots 4.5 cover probability looking somewhere around the 70% mark. I have a very high confidence in this play, and this isn't a gut call. This is math. This is value, and this is the play for the side.
I will probably be on the Patriots. I am hoping and praying it can get to 5 or 5.5. Just because you mentioned I was looking. This is the highest bet him out. So there's 70%, as you said. That's the most ever.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
That's something to keep in mind. And you know, a lot of the times, like last year, the most bet prop was Saquon Barkley over rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't hit. So that's just kind of something to remember with that. So I'll definitely kind of be on that one. Next one, and look, dude, yeah, I'm gonna take JSN under 95.5 receiving yards. Arguably the best player on the field, and I'm taking his under in yards, but I think it's worth a shot. What I think the Patriots are going to do is I think they're going to take a page out of Belichick's book, and they're going to run bracket coverage on JSN. And we've seen he's struggled when you put bracket coverage on him. Now, look, I know if they do that, that means Gonzalez is going to shadow either Cooper Kupp or Shaheed. And it's what I think is going to happen, because when you look at the numbers, JSN has accounted for 37% of their passing yards, 44 during the playoffs, 44 during the regular season. If you're Vrabel and the defensive staff of the Patriots, how can you not say he's our number one priority? I know people are going to say take away the run, but the Patriots front, when Milton Williams has played, has been stout against the run. That's why I think they're just going to leave the front the same. They're going to take JSN away and force others to beat them. And when you look at the whole defense as a unit, this unit has allowed the 6th fewest yards to opponents' wide receivers. Plus, when you look at the whole season, okay, 18 games, which is an absorbent amount of wide receivers, all the playoff wide receivers, there's only been 5 wide receivers this year that have gone over this number of 95.5 yards. Is JSN great? Yes. Is he playing at an elite level? Yes. Is he in the conversation with Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and Justin Jefferson as the best wide receiver? Probably. But in a game where Vrabel and the defense have 2 weeks to prepare, they're obviously going to say, hey, you know what? We're taking this kid away, bracket coverage. They may even do bracket coverage and put Gonzalez on him. That's how big of a thing he is. I don't think this is going to be as big a JSN game. I think it's going to be a little low scoring. So I'm going to take JSN under 95.5 receiving yards, which is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. That's wild.
Disgusting. Now, I absolutely love this. I have been hammering this guy's bets in a million different ways. Tell us the next bet.
All right. So, forgotten weapon here, in my opinion. You know, we're looking at why Hunter Henry is going to be your best anytime touchdown bet on the Super Bowl board for this weekend. So, everybody in the public's loading up on JSN. Talking heads are debating whether even Drake May can find the end zone. In case anybody forgot, there's a 6'5" tight end who's been the Patriots' most reliable red zone weapon all season long. And the sports books are giving you a 2-1, better than 2-1 advantage at plus 230 to bet on him doing what he's done all year long. Hunter Henry, 7 regular season touchdowns, a safety valve, chain mover, guy who's scoring when it matters. He's about to face the Seattle Seahawks. Only defensive weakness. This isn't a dart throw, long shot here. This is likely the single best value play on the entire Super Bowl prop board. Here's why. So let's start with the odds, because everything you need to know about how the market is thinking here. You know, the market's basically telling you that Henry, who's the Patriots' leading touchdown scorer during the regular season, has a 30% chance of finding the end zone in the Super Bowl. What sharp handicappers know is that Hunter Henry is their favorite anytime TV, because Seattle's defense has been elite all season, but their glaring weakness is defending tight ends. Again, I got to say for people in the back, Seattle's one glaring weakness is defending tight ends. Patriots starting tight end, Mr. Hunter Henry. So, you know, again, Seahawks have the number one defense. They've, 17.1 points per game allowed all season. Shut down the running backs. Only 5 rushing touchdowns have been allowed to running backs all season. They got a secondary that can lock up the receivers, but tight ends, they bleed there. During the regular season, Seattle has allowed the 6th most yards to tight ends at over 1,000 yards on the 5th most receptions at over 100. That, you think about what that means. Teams attack Seattle with tight ends more than almost anybody in the league, and it worked. So now the Patriots are walking into this game with a tight end who's led the roster. who serves as their safety valve. And you got to be sure that Vrabel and Daniels don't know this. Like, they already know. They
Yeah.
know that they haven't circled this matchup in red marker. It's all over the board for them. This is game planning 101. Attack the weakness. So, from here, game script, because of where Henry narrative gets really good. Again, I've already just kind of said it in terms of where I see the Patriots being the actual underdog favorite for this game. That also means to me, New England is going to project to score somewhere around 24-point range, and in order to win the Super Bowl, right? And so basically that means they're scoring 3 to 4 touchdowns. Who's scoring those touchdowns exactly? Maybe running back, he's, Stevenson, maybe he gets one. Maybe somebody else gets in. And then you need 1 to 2 more from TDs somewhere. That's where Henry's going to come in. The Patriots are going to be in a tight game, in my opinion. All the data suggests they will be, and they're going to lean on what works. So that's going to be May hitting Henry in the red zone. And I can really see that, also being, part of their defensive game plan to help Henry, right? So how does that really, translate? That means the defensive game plan is going to create more red zone opportunities for their offense, right? So that's really kind of how I think of that. More red zone possessions they receive, more Hunter Henry has like the likelihood of scoring that touchdown we're talking about.
Mhm.
There's even probability math here, right? So quick math that becomes a little more obvious. Market odds plus 230. That's implied probability of 30%. My estimated true probability is 38 to 42. That's a 10 to 12% point edge. In sports betting, that's massive, right? So for comparison, JSN at minus 110 is correctly priced. He has 0 edge. It's fair market value, as is. Hunter Henry, though, at plus 230 is literally mispriced by 10 to 12 points. So if you're betting on Henry, at plus 230, 100 times with these odds, assuming true probability is 40%, you're making roughly $1,000 to $1,200 profit per $100 wagered over the long run. So that's the mathematical edge here, and kind of how I'm seeing this. And basically the cover scenario for Henry: red zone seam route, third down conversion becomes a touchdown, 2-minute drills, goal line fades, play action bootleg. That'll likely be the favorite one that gets it done. So, I'm looking at this in terms of he's the best mathematical value on the entire Super Bowl prop board.
Mhm.
Not a flyer. This is a core bet to me. The market's giving Henry such a great chance of scoring over the real probability in terms of what I just outlined here. And, if the Patriots really do get that level of 24 or more points, they're getting those 3 to 4 touchdowns that we need, where
Yeah.
we go ahead and look for Henry getting one of those 3 to 4 that we're asking for.
I have given out so many Hunter Henry bets. So I absolutely love this matchup. And people forget last year they played and he had a $109. He went off last year against this defense, and this defense funnels stuff in the middle of the field. Absolutely love me some Henry here. My last bet, I'm going Jake the Snake Bobo to have over half a reception. Yes, that means he only needs to catch the ball once for plus 190. Now, I've mentioned it before. I laid out how I think the game's going to go. Bracket coverage JSN. Gonzalez is on somebody else. Okay. Who does that leave? Shaheed is basically just a deep threat. If they put Gonzalez on Cup, he's taken out. Now, look, I get AJ Barner, and I do have an AJ Barner bet as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at Bobo, he's only played 11 less snaps than Shaheed in the playoffs. He's gone over this total in 2 games. And I think with the game plan that the Patriots are going to roll out of saying, hey, make these other people beat us, I think we're going to see Jake Bobo, Gardner, Barner. I think those are going to be the 2 guys that are kind of open up underneath. They're going to be able to get a lot of run. And I mean, for a guy that's consistently caught passes in the playoffs, I'm getting base almost 2 to 1 at plus 190 that he's going to do it. It just makes all the sense in the world to me with how I see the game playing out.
Right.
Now, if Sam Darnold's oblique is a little serious than normal and Drew Lock comes in, I'm ripping him my ticket. But you know what? I don't think that's gonna happen. So I definitely like that. Gun to your head, man. MVP, who would you bet? Who would you pick?
Ooh. I mean, if the Patriots really do win it, it's going to be Drake May.
Even if it's like a disgusting 6-3 game, like just like the most boringest piece of shit Super Bowl. Is there a world?
I don't see it not being a QB.
I'm gonna say Derek.
I just don't see it.
I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm gonna say Ernest Johnson.
Okay.
Ernest Jones. Sorry, Jones from the Seahawks, dude. Milton Williams. I'm just gonna bet random defensive players to win it.
I like that too.
David, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule, coming on, talking a little NFL. Thank you for all your help during the year. It's been a good year. We're gonna be back during some MLB. Excuse me. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks again for a great season. Hoping to shore up my Super Bowl record again. I think this year, if I'm right, it would bring my record to 5-2 with you over recent years. So definitely on the winning side of these things. But yeah, really liking where this is at. Thank you very much for having me. As always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, same handle, better DP21, and be ready for baseball season because I'm coming for that title again this season against you, and making sure that we're getting some winners out there often and early.
I'm looking forward. I think I won it last year. Did I?
No, not even close. Not even close. I'm sure. I know.
I'm gonna have to go to the archives.
We all know.
I have to go to the archives. Make sure to give that man a follow. He'll be back in a couple weeks. I'm going to talk to him off air about something for college basketball, so maybe he'll be back sooner than that. But talk soon, my friend. Best of luck in your bets, and let's make some money, my friend.
Let's cash. Yeah, thank you.